Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Success is No Accident Strategic Planning for Small Business, sponsored by the Orange County government. My name is Teresa, and I will be your tech support and organizer for the webinar. Our presenter today is Hal Thayer, Assistant Director and Consultant with the Florida SBDC at UCF. Can you go to the next slide? It's not working for me. Sorry.
Me neither. Now it's not working. That's funny. There you go.
Okay. Now, before we get started, I want to cover a few housekeeping rules. Your mics are muted by default. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the question chat box feature in the GoToWebinar panel at any time. We encourage you to ask questions as we go through the webinar, and we will address them at the Q&A portion at the end of the presentation. Please make your questions as specific as possible so we can answer it appropriately. If you see a raise hand feature, we cannot use it. We can only take questions and comments through the questions chat box. An evaluation survey link for this presentation will be emailed to you about an hour after this program finishes. These surveys are very important, and they give us feedback on today's presentation and your interests so we can continue to plan programs that are important and beneficial to you. Please take a few moments to fill out the evaluation when you receive it. It will be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, I'm just going to toss it over to Hal so that you will get straight into the presentation.
Awesome. Thank you, Teresa. Welcome, everybody. I'm looking forward to a conversation with you about strategic planning. A little bit about me and about the SBDC. My background is marketing, communications, and branding for longer than I'll admit to, as well as being in a strategic planning role with both corporate, large corporations as well as small businesses. I've been with the SBDC for approximately 10 years, focusing on the marketing communication side of the ledger, as well as strategic planning, and here I am presenting that to you. The SBDC was established in 1976. It's a nationwide network with more than 1,000 centers across the country and U.S. territories. We're funded in part by both the U.S. Small Business Administration and the state of Florida and our local counties. As Teresa pointed out, Orange County is a sponsor of this webinar. And we are proud to be designated as Florida's principal provider of business assistance, as well as being nationally accredited. So we've got our ducks in a row to try to help small businesses, and that's why we're here. The SBDC at UCF covers 8 counties in Central Florida that are pictured in the map. I think the thing to know that what we're mostly about is providing no-cost expert consulting, training, business training, and webinars such as this, access to access to market research that we leverage out of the University of Central Florida, as well as some special programs we have. The thing I think to understand about us is that we are at no cost in almost all of our programs to you. So the price is right. The key, though, is you understand that we're here and that you take advantage of our offerings. Sorry, I jumped that. So the goals for today and next week. So this is a presentation before COVID, which we would do in person over a 3-hour time frame. For purposes of webinars, we've divided it in half. 3 hours or 2 hours even on a webinar can be deadly. And so we've parsed it down, bucketed it down into 2 parts. And I'll be explaining to that. This week, we'll be talking about the first 2 steps in developing a strategic plan and that's your financial plan and your marketing plan. The third step is to take those pieces and create a business plan. And then that we turn into a strategic plan, as I'll be talking about, yes, next week. So along with identifying and taking you through each one of those steps and doing a deep dive into each one of those steps, we're also going to be providing you with a set of planning tools that you can use after we've taken you through this. What I'm going to be doing is following the webinar, I will be emailing all attendees a copy of the presentation as well as the tools that we're discussing today. Next week, and this is the carrot to make sure you come back next week, we'll be talking about, as I said, business plan and strategic plan. And when we do those two pieces, I'll be sending out those materials to you. At the end of the day, you'll have a strategic planning checklist, financial pro forma budget template, a detailed marketing toolbox. Will provide you with some models for strategic analysis, as well as what a monthly dashboard looks like. And I promise you that you will have more materials than you probably want, but they're all of use and valuable if you grab them and use them. What's important, I guess, is not just about what we're doing today, but it's about what you can benefit, how you can benefit from this webinar and the SBDC. What I can say is that these are going to be familiar concepts. Hopefully, we've packaged it well for you and easy, so it's easy to grasp. There is a lot of information, so it's still likely to feel like the fire hose. But the real answer in this, and the real key for you as a SBDC client, is to take this information, and if you don't have one, get an SBDC business consultant. If you do have one, get with your SBDC business consultant. Bring this material to them, and then partner with us, with your consultant, to see if you to build your strategic plan for your organization. Think about the benefits to you of meeting every other week with a professional business consultant who's there to help you implement what we're introducing today. It's an ongoing piece. It's at no cost. It provides accountability. It means you've got a partner and a clear roadmap to build a strategic plan. So I'm excited about talking about what it takes to build a strategic plan and the pieces of it. But the secret sauce, as I said, is to get with an SBDC business consultant to partner up with and implement putting together the strategic plan. So Franklin Covey is famous for his 7 habits of successful people, and one of them, and one of the most important one, is starting with the end in mind. So as we go through the strategic plan, I'm always working with my clients to take a look at what's the end game? Why are we doing this? Where do we want to take ourselves, and where are we going? So what I'm going to talk about today is how do we get you and your company where you want it, so that you can enjoy some of these benefits of having a strategic plan, right? Being able to be virtual for a month because you've got a strong leadership team in place. You've got a methodology for focused weekly updates. You got a monthly dashboard to measure your performance. Or you've sold a business and you're just checking Facebook. Any one of those are possible good ends, I think. But what we want to do, and what I'm trying to guide you towards, is deciding up front what the goals are, and then making sure that all the decisions we make are going to take us to that end that you have in mind. path to a strategic plan that I'm going to outline today and next week is first the financial plan. How do you understand the numbers? How do you do a budget and pro forma? Second step is going to be to build a marketing plan, to understand your market and to build a structured lead generation process. Part three, and again, this will be next week, we'll talk about a business plan. So that's about you having a good understanding of your business, all aspects of it, and then getting it out of your head and onto paper or onto the screen so that you can communicate and share it and socialize it. I often joke the hardest part of a strategic plan is writing it down. Well, that also applies to the financial plan and the marketing plan and the business plan. The good news is that all of these are built to be easy to use. They're not 50-page exercises. They're 1, 2, 3 pages. Particularly the business plan, we use a tool and present a tool called the Business Model Canvas, which encapsulates the 10 key areas of any company and asks you in a one-page summary to identify your thoughts and plans for each one of those. So the path is start with the financial plan, then we go to the marketing plan, then we work on a business plan, and that takes us to the strategic plan. So let's play a little game. I know we haven't got terrific back and forth here, but take a look at these comparisons and watch what we find out as we go through an analysis of which one of these is most valuable. So company A, 25 years old, it's got a niche consumer product, it's got 30 million in sales, 3 million in EBITDA, and it's got nominal growth. Similarly, the company B is 25 years old. It's also a niche consumer product, but its sales are 20 million and its EBITDA is 2 million. So looking at those numbers, you would think company A is more valuable on the strength of its higher sales and higher profits, as demonstrated by the EBITDA. However, if we look harder at a company, and when I do this, I'm doing this obviously for a reason, you're going to see, and probably I hope decide, that if you were buying one of these companies, the value would be in one and not the other. It isn't always about the sales. So let me give you some more details about this company. So company A doesn't have a product development program. They don't have a market development program. They don't have a marketing plan. Their equipment is original and worn. The management team is thin and weak. I did obviously it's in red, and I wanted to make this as clear as possible. They don't do strategic planning. Their information systems are old and antiquated. They have a corporate culture that's been built on owner dictates. Financial reporting is there but unreliable. They don't have any lean initiatives that's about operations and becoming efficient. They have environmental issues that they are leaving themselves at risks of, and they have haphazard training. Company B, on the other hand, and obviously I did this for full effect, is good on all of those qualities. Robust product development, robust market development, good, strong, up-to-date equipment, a deep and experienced management team, strategic planning in place and developed, IT working, corporate culture built and operative, and owner is engaged. Highly disciplined financial reporting, fully implemented lean initiatives, industry leader on environmental and regular and formal training. Stepping back and sort of looking at that, and you would, I believe, agree that the two companies, the one with the future is company B, even though they're 10 million less in sales and 2 million and a million less in EBITDA. My point is a lot of those pieces that are in Company B's favor are going to be pieces that we can and we will be looking at and talking about in building a strategic plan. And a well-developed strategic plan will invite you, allow you, enable you to make these kinds of, have these kind of strengths built, growing the muscles for your company to benefit from it. So, question first for everybody, and I mentioned this before. You're thinking on a financial plan or a marketing plan or a business plan or strategic plan. It's great if it's in your head, but you need to get it down on paper or onto a screen so that you can get everybody on the same page. You know, communications and engagement and embracing of the goals of the company and understanding what the company is about only can be accomplished by, frankly, being able to communicate, share, and proselytize your ideas. SMART goals are an important piece of this. Strategic market, measurable, actionable, and I've got the other two I've got written, not down. Also, when it's written down, ownership and accountability can be identified and agreed to. I talked about communications. And then clearly, once you have a business plan, a marketing plan, or a financial plan, they are not set in stone. They need to be dynamic, updated, reviewed regularly, adjusted as the realities of the marketplace come in. So key learning in this is, and I said it before, the hardest part of any one of those of our steps in the path, financial plan, business plan, marketing plan, is writing them down. And that will be where a SBDC consultant could come in, is help you iterate it, draft it, help you work off your drafts to make them as effective and useful for you as possible. So step one, phase one, follow the money. The path to the strategic plan is to develop a financial plan. So let's talk about this a little bit. The first things first is always follow the money in my world and my experience with small businesses. Business is about money. We know that. It needs to be managed. We need to know what we're doing with it and where we want to put it. It paints a picture of the financial future of your business because with forecasts and historical documentation together, you get a picture of what's going on for your business. And the canvas we use is a spreadsheet. And that's one of the tools that we want to present to you today and we'll make available to you following the webinar. So this is a 36-month pro forma. It answers the question, what am I spending? Where's break even? What growth rate is expected? How do you compare with your competition? That's one of the things SBDC can help you with, is to give you comps for your business, your industry, to see how you're doing. You can understand how, you know, your cash flows and how much do you have enough available for the growth you're looking for. Will you need to make a hire? When's the right time? What kind of investments? All of this is part of how you, what you can get out of the 36-month pro forma. And it's a tool, and to understand it, it's a tool to evaluate financial what ifs. It's a month-to-month estimate of the next 3 years. Now, the key word in there is estimate. A forecast is, at the end of the day, your best guess, and based on the best assumptions you can make. We understand that. We applaud that. Because what we'll do is, after we do a pro forma, which is, as I said, a forecast, our best guess, each month we will go back and check the forecast against actual results and get better and better and better by doing that monthly check of what our estimates were, so that by the end of year 3, we are now looking at things that we are very comfortable with and can then project that off into the future even better because of experience. On the revenue side, if we can break it into categories and segment it so that we have more leeway to make the decisions, that's important. On the expenses, it's going to be your cost of goods sold, labor expenses, fixed expenses, variable expenses, your banking and other expenses. All of those expenses are sort of getting to give you an idea of what your financial picture looks like. And if you're a startup or you've been doing it for 10 years, what you know is that you can you can capture that information, project it out over 3 years, allow for growth in revenues, growth in staff and employment, seasonality, if that affects your business. All of that gets captured as we develop a 36-month budget. This is sort of an example of a pro forma. So up here at the top, you've got your revenues, total revenues per client, and this is where you can segment it into, by different product lines, by different services, by different packages. So I have a car detailing client, and the way he looks at his revenues is by the different packages he he offers, as well as by different kinds of vehicles that he might detail. And we made a decision that the packages was a better way for him to estimate his revenues, and that's how he developed a guess as to how many vehicles he thought he could do a week and then a month, and that helped us build into the pro forma. The cost of goods sold, for him, that's really not going to be an effect, but for if you're producing something or offering a product that creates costs that requires manufacturing, would all be in part of this process. That takes us down. The revenues minus the cost of goods sold gives you your gross margin. And now we get into the expense side of the ledger. Well, the cost of goods sold is the first step, obviously, and that gives us gross margin. Then we look deeper into expenses. These are employee expenses, exec comp, salary, payroll, etc. There are fixed expenses versus variable. That is, if you're if you're producing and manufacturing, there are going to be variable costs based on the number of widgets you produce. Will be, cost of machinery will be what it is, but then as you increase your the amount you are producing, that will be a variable cost. All of these expenses here, commissions, marketing, advertising, web expenses, it's with a lot of my clients, when we do this exercise and we do a pro forma, they're regularly kind of surprised at all of the expenses that actually are associated with running their business. But that's an important thing to understand, because managing your expenses is one of the key levers you have to maximizing your profits, right? Because all of these coming down this line here, all of these expenses give you total expenses, and it's after those are deducted from your gross margin up here, that's where you get your net profit or loss. And that's obviously a key number for us. In future months, what we would see, and this is what I was referring to before, is, are you growing customers? Are you are you expanding your production with additional fixed expenses? Based on that budget versus actual experience each month, looking back at your forecast and then comparing to the actual expenses. What are you learning from that? Are you being too generous in your forecast? Not generous enough? All of that helps you get sharper and sharper and sharper about understanding your your financial life as a company. And this is a document that I will send you. It's a Excel document where you could be filling in each one of these lines with your revenue, your inflows up here in the revenue side of the piece, and your cost of goods sold is the first expense, but that gets you again to that total gross profit. And then secondly is your operating expenses, and that's a long list of possibilities. Sometimes my clients find it daunting to try to do this, and all I can tell you is you need to start somewhere, making your best guess, and then following the future to understand, and seeing what happens in the reality of the marketplace just makes you smarter and smarter and smarter about how your finances work, how your company's business works, and that's all to your benefit. So that is the pro forma that I will send you. I go back to at the beginning of the presentation. A key step in here is to get with your SBDC consultant and let them work through this with you. You don't have to do this alone. It will go better for everyone if you let us work with you on this and build out the 36-month pro forma for your business. Again, that's step one, and what we're trying to do here is to get you the best picture you can of your company's financial world. A big second step in this is once we've done that pro forma and understand what the financial picture is for you to decide when your golden month is. Now, what is a golden month? It's the moment when you realize your personal income goals. So what is your magic number? Is it a lifestyle kind of income where you can afford the things you want to afford and enjoy life that way? Or are you more interested in building a growth machine that can continually increase your income over time at a life work balance that works for you? So you'll hear me talk more about the golden month and sort of deciding at what point does your profit and does the amount of income that you can pull out of your business meet your goals. But that's a personal decision and one that you need to think about, focus on, let your SBDC consultant talk to you about, to say, this is where I want to go. Because think about it, back to Covey, starting with the end in mind. If you have a goal, an income goal, if you set that up front, then we can start building milestones in and measure our progress and have an idea about where we're going and why and how, and then how we're going to get there. So defining your golden month is a key step in the first part of the process of the path to a strategic plan, is defining your golden month. Because once you understand that, and maybe it's out 12 months, 18 months, 36 months, what you will come to is know what kind of revenues you need, how many customers will you need to reach that number, and what can you expect your expenses to be in order to generate the income that means you have reached your golden month and you are at the personal income level you want. So I hope that sort of underscores the importance of your revenue, doing a budget and doing a pro forma to build out a future financial story that you can work towards and work with. So understand, digging deeper on golden months, right? Golden months target could be reaching a level of sustainable profitability. The personal income goals for you as the owner, as we talked about. Could be a golden month where you get to start hiring for new positions. For most people, understanding what your exit strategy is, starting with the end in mind. A lot of people, if they want to sell their company, are going to want to have the right people in the right seats because that's going to make their company that much more attractive. But how much cash flow do you need to hire those new positions, to bring in those new people? I have a program which works with small business CEOs, and one of the biggest problems they have is when do they hire that number two for them so that they can free themselves up to think more long-term, more strategically, and have a number two who can be implementing and managing operations. But you need to understand what your financials are before you can do that. And then lastly, this notion of the targeted multiple. So if you are going to sell your company, what the buyers will do is look at a multiple of revenues or profits to estimate what the value of the company is. Well, that tells you that you want to have developed and your pro forma will demonstrate this, is will be able to tell you how to build your financial story to get the maximum multiple, because that multiple will translate directly into the price that you can get for your business. There's a fun visual of it, right? Understanding where you are today in your current month, understand what kind of growth rate you're going to need, and that'll help you make business decisions about your business to get you to the golden month, is what this is trying to illustrate. So your logical next step is to develop a budget, the B word, and that's what we're sort of going to here, is that if you take the first 12 months of your pro forma and you make that into your budget, you then specifically review each month based on what you know. You account for seasonality, current sales pipeline, that kind of thing, and then make a habit of every month tracking actual to budget. It's what I was saying. So what did you budget? What was your forecast? What did you think was the number that you expected to gain in revenues or spend in expenses? But what actually happened? How did it really look? I've seen some genius budgets and business plans and marketing plans in my time with small business that when they got into the marketplace, when they started dealing with consumers and competitors and vendors, found a different world than they had forecast and expected. Fortunately, because they had thought through their budget, thought through their pro forma, they were able to, and you will be able to adjust and move a little bit. I hate the word pivot, so I won't use that, but you'll be able to reset yourself based on the actual information. And for my money, that's gold, because I then can feel comfortable and confident that my numbers are getting sharper and sharper. My understanding of my financial situation is getting better and better. And that's, I think, a winning proposition for all small businesses, and why we're very supportive and very directive around building pro formas and budgets. So the path to the strategic plan, step one, building a budget, financial plan. The 4 steps here, and you'll find that I put all of our steps into a list for you, is to develop that 36-month pro forma, define your golden month, estimate a realistic growth rate, and SBDC can help you with that. We can look at industry numbers. We can look at competitive information to help you understand what's a reasonable growth rate for your business. And then lastly, develop and utilize a budget. So that's step 1, building your financial plan. Part 2 is, phase 2 is to plan to grow. And this is all about developing a marketing plan. So defining marketing is an art, not a science. A lot of us bring past experiences onto the job, and marketing can have a lot of different definitions. It can be defined as sales. Some people think of marketing as advertising. Some people don't think they do have to, they don't do any marketing, that people just come to them out of the blue. And other people think that the sales team should do marketing, or that they claim they have a dedicated marketing team. What I'm going to argue today is that what your marketing is really about is generating leads, and that in fact your sales effort is taking those leads and converting them into customers. So as we talk about it today, I'm going to be talking about what a lead generation program, marketing program would look like. So in the world of marketing, the traditional approach has been that there are 4 Ps: product, place, promotion, and price. By product, we mean product or service. We talk about elements like your name, the quality of your product service, the benefits that go to your customers, and keep in mind that customers buy benefits, they don't buy features. And then who are your competitors? That's all sort of subsumed under products and services. The P for the place P is about distribution. It's about sales channels and plans. It's about locations. It's about how your customers buy from you. Products and services is more about why. Place is more about how. Promotion is how you is about communicating. How are you telling your story? How do you deliver the messages that you want customers to have around your business? So promotion is a key part of the communication piece, the telling of the story. And then lastly, price is a key component, obviously, in any purchase decision. But it's also a tool that can be used to your advantage to manage the experience that your customers have. Good example is having a list price for your products or services, but then as a price promotion, you offer discounts. So for first-time customers, we'll give you a 10% discount as a way to help them buy, sample your products and services. That's a whole strategy inside of marketing, is to play with price. You don't want to start out at a low price, because raising prices is very difficult in almost every industry. On the other hand, if you've got a list price and then you offer people discounts, they feel like they're getting a deal. When they come back after that first-time buyer purchase and try to get it and want to buy it again, that's when they pay list, and that's to your advantage. The 3 Ps that we at the SBDC add, because we think it's terribly important for small businesses, is positioning. Okay, key to a small business is having differentiators that separate you from your competition, separate you from the businesses that are there. So positioning yourself and how you look to the customer compared to your competition is very important. Second thing for small businesses, people, understanding your target audience. Small businesses don't have enough resources in most cases. They can't, they need to really be clear about who their target audience is so that they only invest in talking to those people. They know who the low-hanging fruit are. They know who the most likely to convert are. That's where you want to spend your money, your investment in your marketing. I look at marketing and urge my clients to as well as an investment. And as such, we need to make sure we're talking to the right people so that our return on marketing investment is the best we can make it. And then the last P we add at the SBDC for marketing is planning. You know, planning the work and then working the plan is critical. Tracking results, writing it down. Back to that return on investment concept. If you're investing, you want to understand what your return is. To find out what your return is, you need to measure, and that's the key part of planning, is measuring the results from your marketing activities. So there's 6 components of a marketing plan. As I said, after this meeting, I will be sending you materials. Which gives you a template for a marketing plan that'll follow this general direction. Sort of, what are your goals? How many leads do you need? How much are you willing to invest? Who are your target markets, and who are your target accounts if they're selling for you? What's your messaging? What are your stories? What are the benefits of your product or service? What are the differentiators for your products and service? What marketing tools do you want to use? There's a long list of possible choices, and at the outset, we need to make decisions about what we're going to use and what we're not going to use. We recommend that you do specific campaigns where we bring together your targets, your message, and your tools to try to meet your goals. A big mistake by small businesses is that they will do one piece of marketing and then be unhappy that it didn't work out. Those are called random acts of marketing, and they just don't work. They don't pay, they don't return on your investment, and that's a problem that we try to help you avoid. The review and measure piece, that's back to the metrics to understand what your return on investment is. So the bubble is asking the question, where do you get your marketing goals? How do you come up with marketing goals? Well, the answer to that is going to be understanding what your golden month is and what you're looking for there, and that'll help you start to understand how many leads do you need, how much do you want to invest to try to get there out in the future. So is part of, after we've identified the goals, it's about target markets. It's about your messaging, understanding who your audience is, who your most likely buyer is, will help you understand what your features are, what the key benefits are of your have, and how does it compare? How is it differentiated from other pieces? It all comes back down to your value proposition. What value are you creating for the customer? Customers buy out for only 3 reasons: to increase income, reduce expenses, mitigate risk, or improve competitiveness, right? Think about that. How are you going to create the perception that whoever your customer is going to buy because they are going to find value in one of those areas? And how you talk about the features, benefits, attributes, and positioning is key to that. This is to illustrate that there is a marketing toolbox out there. I will be sending you a list of all of these possible choices you have for building a marketing plan. brochures, collateral material, all of those that sort of fall under the marketing communications piece. Having an elevator speech is key to all of your sales activities and how you're going to talk to people there. Having scripts and dialogues for sale is just as important. Digital marketing strategies. We've got experts on staff here at the SBDC to help you build a digital marketing plan. As I said, I'm going to send you a long list of all of these choices, but it's about taking a look at what the choices are, taking a look at your competition and see what they do and how they're using marketing tools. And then working with your SBDC advisor to understand, the consultant to understand what makes the most sense to you, given your budget, given your target audience. What are they, where will they find you is another part of the description. But that's part of all of the marketing tools that we can help you build into a marketing plan. Unfortunately, a lot of business owners stop there, right? They do they choose a couple of marketing tactics, and they forget, and then they go try them and see what happens. And I've heard more than a few times of people who say, I spent $6,000 on a website, and they think they got nothing. They have a Facebook account, but now what do they do with it? We do networking, but I don't get much out of it because I don't get a sale every time I go to an event. And we sent out 500 mailers and nobody called. We hear about this all the time, all the things that don't work, but there's something missing in this. And what I want you to think about is the fact that it's all about not having campaigns. You want to have a campaign strategy, tying the targets with the messages with the tools. It's avoiding the problem of random acts of marketing. So it's all about having a series of contacts with your customers. The research says that you have to have at least 11 touches of a client, and a touch is any kind of a moment that they're aware of you before they'll even begin to consider the purchase decision. So different kind of contacts, constant contact emails, voicemails with scripts, email, and then do it 3 more times, right? Over a 6-week period. Decide when it starts, when it ends. Don't go forever. And then at the end, you need to measure to understand what's important and what was valuable there. Underscore this over and over again. You're making an investment. You want to measure, see what you're getting out of your investment in marketing, and ways to look at that are sort of how many leads did you get from the campaign? What was your cost per lead? How successful were you converting those leads into sales? There are many more that your SBDC consultant can help you with. And as well as finding ways to measure, right? How many people are coming to your landing page? Do you have a dedicated toll-free number that tells you that direct mail piece is what drove the calls to that number? And do you ask, hey, how did you hear about us? All of those are ways to start to measure what your return on investment is from your marketing, and a key component of any marketing plan. So that takes us through the marketing plan segment. I hope defined marketing for your business. You need to do that with your SBDC consultant. We talked about market research we can help you with and where we can help you. Defining your marketing goals is the 7th step. Your targets and your messaging. Again, I think I explained, being clear on who your targets are makes your spending more efficient, and making sure your messaging resonates with those targets. You're talking their language. You're telling them the benefits that are important to them. Then we'll test the marketing tools to understand which one worked for you. The dirty little secret about marketing is that it's really about trial and error. We use a marketing tool. If after the 6-week campaign we got nothing, we go try another tool. If we got something, we keep using it. But that trial and error is just part and parcel to being a successful marketer, understanding you need to do that. And then lastly, building campaigns where you're coming at your clients, you're coming at your targets with multiple tactics, multiple ways of delivering your message is a way to be most effective for your marketing plan. So preview for next week, we're going to talk about writing a business plan, and I'm going to talk about a new version of a business plan. It's not your grandfather's 20-page business plan. It's a one-page business model canvas that we'll be talking about next week. That's very valuable to sort of really grasping what your business is about and what you want to do with it. And then lastly will be phase 4, developing your strategic plan and articulating your vision for 23, your vision 23 and 26. What's your vision for this year? And what's your vision for 3 years out, which is, as far as, frankly, I think anybody can reasonably project. So building the strategic plan, just to reiterate what our plan is here. First step is the financial plan, understanding the numbers and the budget pro forma. Part 2 would be the marketing plan that we talked about today. I can't underscore enough that you don't want to do this alone, that being with an SBDC consultant, partnering with us, letting us help you, makes all this doable, manageable, and more effective for you. Next week, we'll talk about the business plan to understand your business, get it out of your head and onto paper so you can share it with your team, with your vendors, use it to attract new employees. It's a key component to being successful. And then lastly will be the strategic planning process. And that's the key. It's not a process, not an event, but it's a key element of managing a business successfully and for the kind of growth to get to the golden month everybody's talking about, that I was talking about earlier. I'm saying this for the last time this week. You can't do this alone. It's a grind, and you really want to try. Life is a grind, as you know, and having a consultant there to help you is invaluable, unvaluable. Can't be valued enough. Think about the picture I painted before. Think about meeting with a consultant every couple of weeks to develop specific steps that you're going to follow, to identify, to create accountability and frank feedback, and get the advantage of their experience and knowledge and make it work for you. Easy to get if you don't have an SBDC consultant. We're easy to come by. sbdcorlando.com/consulting. Fill out a request for consulting, and we will be in touch shortly thereafter to schedule a call, a Zoom, a meeting, face-to-face, whatever works for you to try to help you create the strategic plan you want. So next steps in the next 7 days, coming out of this portion of the Success is No Accident webinar, I urge you to define your golden month. I guess actually the first step is to get a consultant, SBDC consultant. But then you should define your golden month, create that pro forma, come back next week for part 2, and make sure you've got that meeting with a consultant to sort of talk over these issues with them. This is where I'm going to go to questions and clarifications, and if I missed expectations, you please let me know. And our next steps, that's the consulting option, and if you're already working with them, making the point. And I'm going to go back to Teresa. We got about 5 minutes for questions. How do I see them in the chat?
There is a questions box you can open, but I can also tell you what they are and you can answer them verbally.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Okay. Our first question is, how often can we meet with a consultant?
At as often as you want and as often as you need. We are here to help. We are eager to help, and what your needs are will determine how our availability. But it's unlimited. It can go as long as short as you want, and we're just here to help. And come on down. We'll be here if you need us.
Excellent. And throughout your presentation, I was getting questions with regarding whether or not they will be able to view this again, and about the handouts. And I want to, summarize all of those questions with this will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel in a few weeks, along with the part 2. We don't want to put up one without the other, of course. And then we will also, I believe Hal will be sending out an email with all the handouts he's discussed in today's presentation following the webinar. When the webinar concludes, we will be able to get everyone's email addresses and send that out.
Correct.
Yep. So whatever email address you guys use to log into today's webinar, that's the email address it will be sent to.
Right.
And if you do need a consultant.
Go ahead.
Yep, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, my contact information is email is thayer@ucf.edu. If you need anything, if coming out of this, please feel free to reach out to me. thayer@ucf.edu.
And so I am getting some questions about needing to meet, how to make an appointment with the consultant. I know we did introduce you guys to that consulting link in Hal's last slide about registering to meet with our consultant, and just gives us some information about your business so we can connect you with a consultant that would just be able to help you. So if you guys go onto our website, click request for consulting, fill that out, that will be the fastest way to connect you with a consultant.
So this is that address, sbdcorlando.com/consulting.
Yep. So that's the majority of the questions that I have are about meeting with a consultant, and the handouts for today's information, and also just to get a recording of today's presentation.
Got it. Thank you, Teresa. Folks, I promise you that I promised you up front that this was going to be a fire hose of information. I know it is a lot. I can only tell you that getting with an SBDC consultant, partnering up with us and letting us help you will make this very much more manageable, make this very useful to you, and will help you be more successful. I've seen it happen over and over again, and I can assure you, if you make the effort, we'll make the effort, and it can pay big dividends for you going forward. A strategic plan can make all the difference for a small business. It's something a lot of them don't do, and the ones that do that I know of have really benefited.
Absolutely. And if you did register through GoToWebinar, you are automatically registered for next week's presentation. And the financial performer you showed in today's presentation, will that be emailed out in an Excel format? Or
yes.
Awesome. All right, then.
And again, if you get something back, if you get something from me, you have questions or need help with it, feel free to come back to me, and I'll be glad to help.
Awesome. Thank you, Hal. So far, that's all the questions I see right now. Okay. Is there a specific consultant for aviation companies?
I'm sorry, for what?
Aviation companies?
We don't specialize by industry. We have had prior aviation clients, and we would look to the consultants that worked with those so that they have industry familiarity and the like. But the consultants we have are tend to be generalists with deep knowledge in functional areas, marketing, finance, HR, that kind of thing. I can assure you that if you need aviation, we'll find you somebody who can talk that language and help you with your industry and get it and be have the impact you'd expect and hope for.
Okay, that looks like all of the questions. I am getting a lot of thank yous, so I want to make sure you know that everyone's very appreciative.
Thank you all for being here this morning. I'm looking forward to next week. There's a big ending, a big bang at the end that I don't want you to miss. But until then, thank you. I will get those materials out to you quickly, and be in touch if we can help you with anything. And if you don't have an SBDC consultant, get one.
Awesome. Thank you, Hal. And we will see you all next week. Same time, 10 a.m. And you will be receiving an email at the end of this webinar about an hour afterwards with a link to our survey. We would be very grateful if you could please fill that out, click on the link, fill it out, and let us know how we did.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.